Hi everyone. As I promised in an earlier video today, I'm going to be doing a book review tonight, and if you notice that my hair looks different than it did in the other video, that's because I got it flat ironed and cut. I have not had my hair flat ironed since 2014. So the book I'm going to be reviewing tonight is called Cheyenne Again, and it is by Eve Bunting and illustrated by Irving Toddy. So before I get into the book, I wanted to share information with you about the author and the illustrator. I'm going to be using notes and telling you from memory. So the author, Eve Bunting, she was born December 19th, 1928, so her birthday just passed. She turned 90 years old, so happy belated birthday, Miss Bunting. She has written over 250 children's books. That is a lot of books. She's written over 250 children's books. Some people can barely write one. So her name, according to Wikipedia, her full name is Anne Evelyn Bunting, and she is a Northern Ireland-born American writer. Her work covers a broad array of subjects, and includes fiction and non-fiction books. Her novels are primarily aimed at children and young adults. I've only read 3 of her books. One is this one. The other one is called Flower Garden. And the last one is called The Cart That Carried Martin, which is about Martin Luther King's funeral and how his casket was carried in a cart being pulled by either horses or mules. So she has so many different books that there's something for everybody. The illustrator was very interesting, and I have to read his information because I can't remember it all. So according to artofthepeople.org, the illustrator Irving Toddy, he is from, I can't pronounce this name, so I'm going to say its translation. He is folded arms, born of the red streak across forehead Zuni. His maternal clan is Bitterwater, and his paternal clan is Red House. He is the son of Betian Yaz, an internationally renowned artist from Wide Ruins, Arizona. In 1983, Toddy received his bachelor's degree in commercial art, and in 1986, he received his master's degree in painting. Both degrees are from Utah State University. He works in acrylics, oils, watercolor, pastel, pen and ink, and graphite, as well as a variety of other mediums. This man's incredible. He enjoys painting the Southwest genre, though recently he has been painting in ledger style, which originated with the Plains Indians tribes. So when I found out about his group, I decided to look up Bitterwater. That's what I found. And Bitterwater, I don't know what's going on. Bitterwater, it says, is one of the 4 clans of the Navajo. The changing woman gave a cane made of abalone shell, which became the sacred abalone shell gish. And the people from this clan became philosophers and educators, sharing their knowledge with others. So yes, that is the illustrator. This book, I feel, was the perfect choice for this man's illustrations because his work matched the seriousness and sadness of this book. This book was written in 1994, or published in 1995, and the illustrations were executed in acrylic and oil paint on watercolor paper. So as I go through this book, I have written a couple of notes to explain some things that I noticed as I was reading. And I'm going to try not to show the words so I won't get copyright law. But I will show you the illustrations. So the book starts off with a boy named Young Bull, and he is 10 years old. And it starts off with him being taken away. So you see him? is his mom, his dad, and this white guy shaking his dad's hand, and an indigenous man on a horse. So the white man, his name is the man who counts. And I don't know if the man who counts is called the man who counts specifically because he is looking for children in a certain age demographic, or if it has a deeper meaning. So some of the ideas I have about what the man who counts, what he means, is one, he's taking away children of a certain age demographic because he's sending them off to the white schools to be indoctrinated. Or it could also mean that he is counting money. You know, he could be greedy. Or it could be some type of cultural concept that I don't know. Some people are into numerology. Some people are into biblical numerology. There's other groups, like there was one group who doesn't want their photograph taken based off of spiritual purposes. They feel their soul would be trapped in the photograph. They don't want an image of themselves. So maybe the man who counts is actually a deeper meaning. Taking man is the indigenous man wearing the white man's clothes. So this indigenous man has been so overtaken in his mind, so colonized in his mind, that he has no remorse for taking his own people away to be enslaved by these invaders. He's wearing his badge because he's of a higher rank. He doesn't care. He's just part of the order. And it reminds me of those people of African descent that were enslaved, that would tattle on other people of African descent who were about to do some revolts. You know, some revolts to get you free. Yeah, they would tattle on them. They'd be like, hey, they're about to start this revolt. I'm like, don't you want to be free? Like, what the heck? So I feel like the taking man is like those people. We would call him like an Uncle Tom or a Sambo. He is like an indigenous Uncle Tom. So the next page has the boy's mother and his father. You see this? I'm not going to show you all of the illustrations, just the ones that stood out to me. So the mother tells the boy to run. She says, run, hide fast, run. Me, personally, I'm with the mother on this one. I would tell my child to run because you're not about to take my baby anywhere. You're not about to take my baby nowhere to be indoctrinated and treated like any old kind of way. So I feel her maternal instinct was talking. I feel like he should have listened to his mother and not his father, because his father had a whole different opinion than his mother. When I read back on the stories of Native children being taken away from their parents, children of African descent being sold down the river, and Harriet Beecher still writing about, like, oh, blah, blah, Uncle Tom's Cabin, I guess because her child died, she kind of felt sympathy and being like, oh, my child died. This is probably what it feels like for an enslaved woman's child being taken away from her. No, it is not the same. When your child is dead, you know where your child is. Your child is buried in the ground. When your child is taken away into some type of enslavement, you don't know what's going on with your child. You don't know if they're being fed, tormented, tortured, beaten. You don't know what's going on with your child. You can never rest. It's like the parent of a missing child. They have no closure. They don't know what's become of their child. They have no closure. So that's why I feel like I'm on the side of the mother. Whereas his father had an interesting perspective. His father said he must leave. Now is the white man's world. He needs to learn the white man's ways. The father has an entirely different viewpoint. He sees that the white man is taking over his community and his people. It doesn't matter where the little boy runs. It doesn't matter where he hides, because this is white man's territory now. So he can hide all he wants. He's eventually going to be found. and he's going to be taken away. The food is running out. There's not enough to feed and nourish their child. So in his mind, he's like, okay, if he goes with these people, he can gather their skills. He can possibly use it to liberate himself one day. There is nothing we can do. It is not the same world anymore. It is not only us and our ancestors anymore. We have to move with the ways of this new world order. So, obviously, the baby gets sent away. So, the little boy obviously is very sad. He's going away to this new environment. Look at these illustrations. This illustration captures perfectly the empty world, which is his new home. He's in a new environment. It's cold. It's harsh. There's no love. He can't speak his language. He can't wear his clothing. He can't do anything. That's why this picture is very powerful. You see what they're doing? They're cutting off his hair. I am not an expert in the history of the indigenous people of North America. I'm really not. But as far as the significance of hair, based off of what I have learned from my people of African descent, hair was very important. Hair was a form of identity. Certain tribes would have specific hairstyles. If you were going through puberty, you would have one hairstyle. If you were getting married, you would have another hairstyle. Even families had their own particular way of wearing their hair. If you were crazy or in mourning, you didn't comb your hair. When you chop off a person's hair, that's like chopping up their soul. When you chop off a person's hair, that is cutting away their identity. Sometimes when people go through a crisis, they'll just shave their head off. They'll shave their hair off and be a whole new person. So they are trying to stamp out the memory of his people by doing these various physical things to his body. The first thing that a person will do to change your mind is usually to alter your body in some way, shape, or form. People do it all the time. They'll throw acid in somebody's face. They'll cut them up. They'll stab them up. They'll mess up their face. They'll mess up their hair. They'll make them ill. They'll do something to their physical body to break them down. So he's getting this white man's education. He's learning geography, arithmetic, but he's still dreaming about his people. And unlike these other children, this boy has some fire in him. The other children, they've been just stamped out. They're weak. I'm not saying they're weak like, weak, but they can't fight anymore. Like, they are officially being colonized. Whereas him, he still has his fire in him. He will not forget his people. That's why he stands out with his classmates. I gotta show you this illustration. Speak English. So sad. He can't speak his language. And look, he's being watched too. They've basically made these children like little enslaved soldiers. They're making them not be able to practice their spirituality. They're going to church. They're wearing these tight, restrictive clothing. And the turning point of the book happens one night when he's just sad. He's sad for home. And that is a very dangerous point for some people. You have two choices to make. Are you gonna... No, actually got three choices to make. You can either stay, you can kill yourself, or you can try to run away. This particular scene brings back to my memory reading about Africans who jumped off of the ships in the Great Ma'afa. They would rather have death than be enslaved. They knew they weren't going to see Africa again. They were in the middle of the ocean. Whereas this boy, I don't know how far he is from home, so he still might have a chance to find his home. So in the middle of the night, it's in the dead of winter, he decides he's going to run away. He decides he's going to run away and try to make it back to his home. But obviously, he gets caught. So it says, the trackers find me and bring me back. The school will pay $5 cash for any runaway. So sad. It's like the patrollers that would bring back enslaved Africans. So there's only one person in this book that kind of has sympathy for him, but it's really not true sympathy. And that's his educator, his teacher. So she's trying to give him hope. She's like, don't let us take your identity away. You're still Cheyenne inside. Don't forget your memories. I'm like, okay, that's nice and all, but what are you going to do to help me escape and get back to my family? You just talk over here talking and not doing anything. You just keeping me in this position. Just saying, oh, it's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. No, I need more than that. Or at least that's how I would feel. I'm like, don't talk about it. Be about it, lady. But then again, I don't know. She was I guess a woman back in that day. So she probably wasn't able to do much anyway. You know, she probably didn't have that much power anyway in this society in particular. So the book just keeps getting sadder and sadder and sadder. But it's so beautiful. But it's so sad. So this part of the book is very interesting. He's drawing pictures of warriors from his people. And the moment I saw that, I just immediately thought art therapy for children. When children have had some type of trauma, PTSD, a lot of them can't put into words the pain that they're going through. So they make them draw these images. It's just, oh my God, it's just so sad. So the last part of the book, it's just like, I remember the first time reading the last part of the book, it just, so the lines across the page are thin and straight as fencing. I snip the wire and thrust through, and in my mind, the warriors and I ride side by side across the golden plain, Cheyenne again. It's like, wow. Like in his mind, he's still free, but he'll probably never see his mother or his father again. Like, oh, so sad. So, the last part, it explains the afterword, and I'm going to read it to you, or some of it. No, actually all of it. It says, in the late 1800s, there were 25 off-reservation Indian boarding schools across the United States. Indian children were often forced to attend these schools, even against the wishes of their parents. So it says the first school to be established was Carlisle in Pennsylvania under the leadership of Captain Richard Henry Pratt. Its motto was, from savagery into civilization. Boarding schools for Native American children still exist, but they are now more sensitive to the young people's needs and encourage them to treasure their skills and take pride in their heritage. I'm like, you know what? You need to close down these freaking boarding schools and give these people back their land. But that's just me. I can't change the way of the world. But if you're going to get to the nitty-gritty of it and state the obvious, I'm like, look, you don't own this land. Nobody owns this land. We're supposed to share this land together. You literally ruined these people's lives, took the land they were living on, and put them in reservations. Cramped up reservations. But I'm glad that there was an honest children's book. I'm glad there's honest children's books, because I'm sick of reading about these whole pilgrims and Mayflower and, oh, we're going to have a Thanksgiving dinner. Don't do that with history. Don't sugarcoat history. Just tell history like it is. Know your audience. Know what content that you need to share, know how to say it to a child, but don't just straight up lie to a child. I have only found one children's book, for example, about Thomas Jefferson and how he still enslaved people, how he enslaved people. Every single children's book I have read about him, it didn't even mention that. But this one tried. There was a book about Columbus that tried to be transparent and honest. That is what makes a quality children's book about history. You can't change history. It's okay to tell the truth. Don't whitewash the truth. Don't sugarcoat or gloss over the truth. Just share it in a way that they can understand that is appropriate. So yes, I give this book a thumbs up. I am glad I bought it. You can go online and purchase this book. I would put the store, but I wouldn't do that. But you can go online and purchase this book, Cheyenne again, and be sure to check out Eve Bunting's other books. I would recommend The Cart That Carried Martin out of the other books that I have read as well. So thank you for watching this video, and looking forward to another book review. Bye-bye.